Good morning, Europe. We got 2.5 minutes until the markets open. I just need to get Telegram going. And there we go. One second. So good morning. We've got about a minute to go before the markets open, and I just need to do some homework. Just want to repeat that I'm not doing this on Friday because I'll be traveling to England, to London, to give a talk at the IX show, and the theme of the talk is what goes on behind the scenes. So you see me sit down here, and I'll start trading, and you win some, you lose some. Overall, you win more than you lose. But what I'd like to share with you, if you're there, is what goes on from when I leave till I come back the following day and in between the European session and US session. So that's the theme of the talk. So let's get to it. So here comes DAX 19,000. Which is where we were at the beginning of the month. Do you know that? That's the good thing about keeping a record. That's what I do every day. Keep a record of the closes. So just for the record, the FTSE closed at 8259. It's currently trading at 8310-ish. And the DAX, which is currently trading around 19,000, 18,980. Yesterday closed at 18,846. I think we are trading at the highest levels in the DAX for this month. No, actually, that's not true. We were a little higher a few days ago on the 19th of September. A marvelous day. And, the DAX is doing everything it can to wipe the slate of the bad Friday. And so far it's doing a decent job of it. The FTSE, or standby on the FTSE, we got a first bar negative. I'm buying the FTSE here at 96. I just bought the FTSE here. I'm going to use a 15-point stop loss. Make that 18 for now. Just so you that yeah, I'm trading this on here. My fill is 8296. I'm going to move my stop loss up to 82. I'm just going to move my stop loss up to basically break even. Admittedly, my stop loss right now looks like it's 8295.7, so it's not quite break even. I may just need to click this button here and it should do it. There we go. Isn't that a marvelous piece of kit? Follow the DAX. I'm closing half my FTSE here. Got in a fill at 8302. Or thereabouts. Let me see what I got. 8302.1. Actually, I didn't close half, I closed a third. I've been stopped out of the rest. That's probably just a double bottom. We'll see. I don't know if I have discussed this with you before, but when the first bar negative on a big gap up, I have this concern that that it's not as efficient, but it could be completely unwarranted. Just gonna have a drink. But I may just enter again. Here's a 30-minute chart of the FTSE. So we're sort of dancing in this area up here. Sorry, over here. So we're looking at a 30-minute chart in the FTSE. I have been long and I've been stopped out on what I had left after taking some profits. And for all intents and purposes, I should just leave it alone now. It's served its purpose. Let's see what's going on in the DAX. We seem to have some hesitation here. Coming up to the aggressive school run. That bar is currently unfolding. Again, pointing to the daily chart, we are right up at the all-time high. But if I can be of any advice, it would be perhaps not to read too much into the resistance. As the saying goes, in bull markets, resistance gets taken out repeatedly. And in bear markets, support gets taken out repeatedly. So there's 19,000, and I think the FTSE just found a second wind. Here's a 1 minute chart of the FTSE right now. So what's for me interesting here is that a move above 8300.7 sets in motion a buy signal, and it's sort of it's somewhat of a strange setup, but if you see a bar like this, and you might want to scribble this down, but if you see a bar like this, and this is the lowest bar over at least the last 5 bars, but ideally 7 bars, and the following bar, this one here, immediately takes out the high, that constitutes a buy signal. Has pretty tight stop loss, although in this case it isn't that tight. So why am I not taking it? Well, because it's one of those, it's more like a price action technical analysis pattern than being a situational analysis. Just want to show you some examples from yesterday while we're waiting. And I can't. Well, I can find things that aren't working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one there. That didn't work. This one here, well, I guess it worked. Anyway, let's just go over to the DAX. So here's a DAX. I've just done it on a 1 minute chart. I won't be taking the aggressive school run. Since the open, we have had nothing but overlap bars, and we're trading in a 20-point range, more or less. Just gonna take a 1 minute break. 1 second, or 1 minute. Sorry, I was on mute. That's a lot of indicators. Is that better? I think it's a little gentler on my eyes. I'm just so used to the black and white. Aggressive school run is giving a short signal. at 18,981 minus, I'm gonna go with 4, so 76. But as I said, I've already decided I don't want to trade that. Oh, hang on, what happened to my charts? Ah, my theme. Okay, get it. um, huh. Sorry, I'm just messing about a bit while I'm waiting for school run. Does make it a lot clearer. Ah, man, I really could have used not this, because now when you're looking at a 50-point stop loss for the school run, so the range is getting bigger and bigger. Bugger. I can't take that. Just might as well just say it as is. It will require a 60-point stop loss or more. See that? The range here is from 18,945 to 901, so that's 55 points plus the offset. So we're talking about a stop loss of 65 points in the DAX. I'm not going to do that. Sorry. This was actually why I invented the aggressive school run. It's just that the aggressive school run hasn't been performing so well. But today's short hell did. I suppose what I could do is I could do it in a smaller size if I wanted to. But it's just trying to avoid these half sizes is just not really what I want to do. It was a bit frustrating morning. I'm going to see if I can wait and maybe they'll get a better opportunity. This is a 30-minute chart of the FTSE, and I'm thinking this is looking like it's breaking down. Went above this range here. We're trading below it again. DAX is this is what it looks like on the 30-minute chart. Got a push above, and now we had a push below, and now we're trading back into the range. So at this very moment, it seemed like a wise idea not to engage in this. Of course, that could change quickly, but whether it turned out to be a good idea or not a good idea, it's inconsequential to me. This was a question of, do I want to risk that amount? And if you'll allow me, why? Well, because if I was going to engage in flip the switch and say that I lost on this short position, which certainly right now I would be out of product by about 25 points. I like to think about, okay, well, what if I am wrong? Is there scope for flipping the switch? I mean, switching from being short to being long. And I did it yesterday in the Dow Jones index, and I made back what I lost and then some. Not a lot, but still plus, and that counts. And here I'm gauging, well, hang on. That would mean that in order for that to happen, the DAX would have to rally 65 points from the high of the day. Of course, it's possible, but we're already 40 minutes into the trading session, and that would put the DAX up 225 points for the day before I have just recaptured what I lost on the short position. And I don't think, on the balance of probabilities, that that's terribly realistic. And, you know, I share your frustration. Of course I do. Because, you know, you're primed, you're all ready, you've done your preparation, you've done your, you know, whatever you do to get ready. I know what I do to be ready. And then you perhaps don't get to execute a trade. But I guess I could refer to what I posted last night, and I'll read it to you. It's not what you win that counts, it's what you don't lose. So if you have some frustration, well, I think I'd rather be frustrated than I would want to lose money. You know, chasing an idea that perhaps doesn't have the best of odds. That's how I see it. But let's see. The morning is young. See, I could be more tempted to sell short here above a prior bar high, up into this area here. Please stand by. I put in a sell order at 74. Gonna use a 20-point stop loss. Just because this is basically just the counter move into this support area here. Yeah, I'm afraid it didn't actually trigger the order. It hit 74, but you know the spread has to be hit as well. There we go. FTSE has recovered as well. It's slicing straight through it. Support here and support here, broke down. We'll see. So interesting, isn't it, that down here the DAX looked quite bearish for a second and then nope, wasn't to be. And I've just sold short in this area here. Still a little bit underwater. And now I'm in profit. And now I'm in loss. I'm looking at the FTSE. Really quite strong. Folks, I just accidentally closed my position. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. Sorry about that. Damn. Fuck it. I think I won't re-enter. I was priming up to short the FTSE and I clicked the DAX button by mistake. I got out at 73.5. I'm sorry about that, but I'm just telling you for complete transparency. Okay. I think well, look, you can get out at this if you're following me. You can get out the same. I think I'll just take a 5-minute break here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I just needed to have a few words with myself. Did I just have a lucky escape? I think I did, didn't I? Lucky escape. And I didn't short the FTSE either. Otherwise, you would have been able to see my see it on my. See, that's the thing. I can't actually do anything without you knowing it here. I think I'll call it a morning. I'm not quite gelling with the market. So I had a FTSE trade and a DAX trade. Miraculously, both of them made a tiny bit of money. And for my efforts, I've made £720 this morning. I guess that, all things considered, that's a phenomenal wage for many people for 56 minutes worth of work, but it is perhaps not quite what I'm used to. I think I'll use this morning to. I mean, do you have any questions for me? Some of you are saying that there's news coming out. Have I missed something? Sorry about that. Let me just check. I always go to Forex Factory. We got EFO coming out at 9 o'clock. Okay, so there's a couple of questions, and we have. Okay, so Nils is saying, can you talk about your longer term positions? Well, Nils, that's kind of mutual funds and investments. If you ever talk about the best position I've ever done that I'm still in, I bought gold when it was trading at $225 an ounce, and now it's trading at 2,628. That was a good one, and I'm still in that one. Yeah, I bought gold 22 years ago, and I'm still holding it. Camille is asking, are you feeling better? Did you finish your physio sessions? Yes, thank you. It's something I want to talk about at the IX show. Is also about how the physical fitness regime drives the hormonal balance, in particular human growth hormone, and for me, at my age, testosterone, body fat percentage, VO2 max. And you may think, what the fuck's that got to do with it? I just need some indicators. Yeah, no, not the case. But hopefully you'll be there and I'll be able to present my case. Neil is asking me, do you still trade the FTSE 8-ball and teenager? Yeah, at times I do, but I don't do it religiously. And it's not because there's anything wrong with them. They sort of tend to coincide with me being engaged with the DAX school run. And so I frequently forget 8-ball and teenager. I trade the FTSE first bar positive and first bar negative religiously. But the teenager often slips my mind. We traded it together, I think it was yesterday. But as I said, they frequently slip my attention. Richard, my friend Richard here, he's saying, is the IX recorded? Well, Richard actually makes a valid point. This is what Richard said in its entirety. Is IX recorded? Given that you are doing it for free conference, could you do a version for us? Yeah, I think I could. I think what I would do is I would then make a video recording it over the weekend. I don't think that they are recording it. And you're right, it would be a shame not to broadcast it now that I've done the research. And it's a tremendous amount of research I've done for this presentation. And I really quite look forward to flying to London and giving the talk. Okay. Neil has sent me a joke. I asked my wife why we never talk about gravity, and she said it just never seems to come up. Not bad, Neil. Thank you. Thanks for putting a smile on my face. Okay, 8-ball and teenager. Then there's brunch break. Sport is very important. Okay, so AD Samani. It's not, Frank, it wasn't that I don't want to answer it, but it's just that's what I will be talking about in London. Hello, do you trade the 1 minute chart? If not, why not? Well, AD, because there's nothing wrong with trading at the 1 minute chart, but I personally don't believe that the 1 minute chart in isolation is sufficient unless you understand the areas that you want to be a buyer or a seller. So for example, if I used certain concepts, say Fibonacci or Bollinger Bands, and I knew what areas they were, then I would swap to a 1 minute chart. But I prefer the 5 minute chart and the 15 minute chart. So here we go. Just want to show you how a deceiving morning it actually was. So if I had shorted the DAX down here, and please, by no means am I vindicating myself. I made a conscious decision down here that the bar that you're seeing here, which is my school run trigger bar, I made a conscious decision that I did not want to risk 55 points plus the offset, which is 5 points on either side. That would be a 65 point risk for me. I did not want to do that because that would mean that I would be stopped out here at about 106. And if I then flipped the switch and I went long here, I would then have to hope for the DAX to go all the way up here to make me back what I had just lost just to break even. And it didn't seem like the odds were there for that to happen. And that's why I made that decision. And so, you know, the saying, you got to follow the rules, but you also just have to have enough wisdom to know when to break the rules. And if the width of that 15-minute bar is such an extent, because you always place the stop loss and the orders on either side, if that's such a big range, I would rather stand aside and then accept the consequences. Okay, Tom, are you planning to do any live scalping sessions? Those are really useful. They are, but here's the thing about scalping. Scalping is really fun when the market is extremely volatile, like after an FOMC event or a crazy non-farm payroll. But on a day-to-day basis, it isn't worth scalping. Scalping, to me, it just isn't worth it. And it goes, my answer will go quite deep why it's not worth it. But what it really boils down to is that when you scalp, you are extreme stimulating your minds. You extreme what's the word I'm looking for? Damn. No, it's not. I haven't lost my mind or memory. I'm just trying to think of that you are highlighting some areas, some pleasure centers in your mind. So, and I know it's a bit risque here, but it's a bit like engaging in pornography, in that it stimulates certain parts of your brains, and that invokes a dopamine reaction. Now, dopamine isn't a never-ending infinity source. And so the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is that dopamine is very much like you have established a baseline. So we call this the baseline. And then you engage in, say, pornography, or you engage in high activity scalping, which is extremely stimulating. That was the word I was looking for. It's extreme stimulating for certain parts of your brain, what we call the pleasure center. And one of the problems that makes trading so highly addicting is the random reward hypothesis. The random reward hypothesis is essentially the hypothesis that if you get rewarded randomly, that is far more addicting than if the outcome is predictable. And so when you engage in, say, scalping or pornography, just to use two somewhat similar, especially when it goes well with not the pornography, but with the scalping, your dopamine level raises from the baseline. And I liken it to a pendulum being swung up in one direction. But when you let go, the pendulum will swing back, but it won't stop there. It will go back to base level, but it will always go below. So now you have a problem, because now you're like a coke addict. And again, I've never done hard drugs in my life. Sorry, that was not a artistic pause that I was contemplating whether I had done hard drugs or not. That was more like I'm trying to really carefully word my next sentence. You are now feeling almost a sense of withdrawal from when you're scalping. And maybe the market is there to support you, but even the most crazy of markets does eventually calm down. But you are feeling the come down from a dopamine high. So now you will begin to chase it. You will be engaged in reckless trading behavior. in order to, shall we say, come back to where you were. Remember, dopamine is a baseline, and you stimulate certain areas of your brain and dopamine gets spiked. But then dopamine will always come back because it's not an infinite resource. You can't stay here at elevated levels forever. You come back down, but now you will begin to feel a sense of calm down. And now when you're down there, you would want to go back up again. And so you engage in more trading. And that's why being a scalper requires an extreme degree of discipline. And quite frankly, a degree of discipline that very few human beings possess. So it's for that reason that I'm not scalping for a living. Precisely because, hey, maybe a bit like taking a drug, it's a little bit too good to be true. I realized that perhaps I should have had the camera on full blown, but we're watching the DAX here. And it might just be one of those days where I'm completely proven wrong and I should have taken the long signal, and the DAX does actually go up to 19,075. There you go. I hope that answered it. Will the market mostly be range bound until US election? What do you think? I do not think that. If there's one thing I learned from previous elections is that it tends to get rather volatile depending on the polls. I'm not talking about the North Pole and the South Pole here. I am talking about the opinion polls. Why change the name from advanced to aggressive school run? I assume it's the same thing. It is the same thing. I just felt that perhaps aggressive school run was just, you could also perhaps call it an early school run. Then Damien is saying here, I've been trading 8-ball and FTSE for 1 year now since the last IX show. I now have an EA and it's been amazing for me. Damien, then that £100 that you spent on listening to me, I hope was well given out, and I'm very happy for you. I have done some ASRS and SRS work for Nikkei, but it hasn't been high on my priority because it happens at a time where I'm not engaged with the market. And this one is easy. Are you in crypto positions? No, I'm not. And Mo is asking, have you ever tried to automate any of your trading methods? Yes, I have. That's why I got the sunrise system. Okay, I think that is me done for this morning. I know. My school run long is doing quite well. I'll show you here, but just for full disclosure, I am not in it, but it called for a long at 06 and market is currently trading at 23. So, you know what? A trading career is not made out of one particular Tuesday. And yeah, in hindsight, I probably could have done a bit better. But then I also avoided my decision to not take the short position. Actually saved myself about £13,000. So what's the saying? It's not what you win that counts, it's what you don't lose. So maybe that was just, after all, not a bad decision to make, because otherwise I would really be chasing my tail now. I will see you later for the US session. For now, I need to go and do some more research. Oh, no, let's save it for the video recording, but I really want to talk to you about the exercise paradox. It's just incredibly interesting research that I've uncovered in the run-up to this show in London. I'm not selling you the show here because there's nothing to sell, is there? It's a free ticket. Although I will be using this for my talks in Rome and in Athens and Frankfurt. And I'm hoping to post that later. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you as always. I hope that you have a fantastic morning or afternoon wherever you are in the world. And I will see you later. You look after yourself. Stay strong. Bye-bye.